Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So the video that I have for you guys today is going to be a review on a foundation and concealer that I've been wanting to try for the longest time. So the other day, because I wasn't able to get my shades online, I just went to the store the other day and I picked out the NYX Born to Glow foundation and concealer, and this is the Naturally Radiant foundation and concealer. So I'm super excited. I'm gonna be doing a review, a wear test for you guys today to let you guys know what's my honest opinion, and hopefully if it turns out to be a good foundation, it's gonna be my everyday because they are so damn affordable. So before we get started with the review, I'll just give a little bit of the description, what it says about the foundation and concealer on the website. And I'm just gonna read it from the NYX official website. As for the prices, the foundation cost $10 and the concealer cost $9. I got it in Dubai for like 45 and 40 dirhams, which is actually a really good price for drugstore. I think it's one of the cheapest drugstore foundations other than Essence and Catrice. It's a very affordable brand. Now let's just go ahead and read the description. For the foundation, it says that it's a buildable medium coverage glow foundation. The best thing about this foundation is that it has 45 shades. I mean, that's insane for a drugstore foundation. That really impressed me. It says that the foundation will amp up your skin's natural glow and blend seamlessly with your other Born to Glow products. So it just basically claims that it's a naturally radiant foundation. It's supposed to be long lasting, make your skin look really radiant but not look very heavy. So I'm super excited. That's something I would totally want for an everyday foundation. And then the concealer comes in 25 shades, it says over here. As for the concealer, again, it says it comes in 25 shades and it says it's a micro pearl infused radiant concealer. It covers up blemishes, blurs imperfections, and boosts radiance. So again, something I would totally want to try out. And this is how the packaging looks like. This is the packaging. I don't have any complaints with the packaging. I think it looks pretty good for any normal NYX products. It's nice, it's small, and it's convenient. Other than that, what I love that I read on the website is that it is cruelty free, and it's a very good thing for being so cheap and still being cruelty free. So let's get right into the video. So I'll just apply on one side with a Morphe blender, and on the other side I'll just use my brush, and this is a Zoeva defined buffer brush, just to see if it makes any difference. Of the skin, I have only put on my moisturizer and my under eye cream, nothing else. I'm not going to be doing any primers or setting sprays. I want it to be as convenient and as honest on its own as possible to see how it lasts or how it works by itself. And also for everyday, I don't really do primers or anything, so I mean, just for the everyday makeup, let's see how it works on its own. And yeah, my skin type is combination dry. Sometimes it does get oily if it's very hot outside, but majority of the time my skin is more on the combination dry. So I love foundations that have radiant or dewy finishes. I don't have any problem with that, but I think if you have oily skin, you might want to like see using a primer or something that would mattify your face further. That's that. Let's just get right into the application. So I'm just gonna give my foundation a little shake, and this is what it looks like. It is actually not that liquidy. It's not like dripping off, so it's somewhere in the middle. The texture, it's kind of like thick but not very thick and not very thin, so somewhere in the middle. So let's just go ahead and apply this. By the way, the shade that I'm using for my skin tone is shade Natural 07. When I did go to the store, they were not letting us, they didn't let me try out the testers because of Corona. So the lady at the store was actually very sweet and helpful, and she helped me pick out the shade. She had like all the shades swatched on this paper, which was dried out. So she told me that this shade would be very true to my skin. I do want to say it has a beautiful kind of yellow undertone, which is amazing for someone with my skin tone. I just hate it when I go to stores and they give me these pink undertones. One thing I can see right now is that in person, the foundation has a very yellow tone to it and it looks very similar to my skin tone, but when I'm looking in the camera, it has a slight white cast. So it does not have SPF, but I think it will have a little bit of flashback because my lighting is quite harsh. I feel like the lighting is making the foundation look pretty light on my face. So in person, it's actually much yellow and much true to my skin as compared to the lighting, just so you know. We will try to take some pictures in flash to see if it has any flashback or not. But from the way it looks, I'm assuming it will have a little bit of lighter like flashback if I take pictures with a flash. So one side I'm just blending with my beauty blender, my Morphe blender. I don't have any complaints with the way it blends. It blends very smoothly, seamlessly. It's not difficult or dried out, and it's actually giving a pretty good medium coverage. So this is the perfect finish for me and the perfect coverage. If I do want to go over an area, I might conceal it, but nothing more. So that's with the Beauty Blender. It actually looks really nice, really radiant. Did not stick to any dry patches or anything. It looks very smooth. Now let's try with the brush. I only prefer using the brush when I want more coverage. So usually that would be if I'm going out or something, I'd use a brush. This side, the one that's with the blender, looks very smooth. It doesn't like have any dryness, any patchiness. It is very light, and it almost feels like I have a BB cream on my face, to be honest. The finish and the texture just doesn't feel like I'm wearing any heavy foundation. It did cover good enough for me. I would say it's a little bit less than medium, but if you build it up, it can easily be a medium coverage. I did apply like a normal amount of foundation. I didn't overdo it, and I think it looks pretty good. The finish is very pretty. It's not like really dewy on the face. It's actually quite radiant, just as it claims. So I think two of the main claims that it says, the medium coverage and radiance, is definitely there. I can see it. I don't see the biggest difference with the application with the brush and the blender. So I think you can go ahead and use whatever you want, because almost the coverage and everything looks the same with both. She gave me the shade 06 Vanilla, so it's one shade lighter than the foundation. And it does have like this kind of an applicator, the sponge kind of applicator, which is good enough for under eyes. This side I will go in with my blender. It does feel very brightening, the shade, like it is really nice. She actually did pretty good shade matching. It does feel very brightening underneath my eyes as I'm applying it. I can feel it. And again, very smooth and hydrating. So if you have really dry under eyes, I think it's a very good concealer. It blended so fast. Now I'm going to use the brush for the other side. Okay. Blended very smoothly, did not settle into my fine lines as of yet, and looks really smooth and hydrated. Now I'm just going to complete the rest of my face. Use my yellow powder from the NYX contour palette that I normally use to set my foundation and concealer. I'm not going to do any baking, just a light dust of powder all over my face, and that's how I normally go by every day. So I'll just complete the rest of my face and then update you guys on how it sat or how everything else puts on my face after the foundation. So I just finished doing the rest of my face now, and all I can say is I am really impressed. My face looks really bright, glowy, radiant, and I just love the way my under eyes are so brightened, and it did not crease. It did not like have any patches as I was applying the powders. So the foundation did go on and apply very smoothly. Everything on top of the foundation went on very smoothly. So far I don't have any complaints with it whatsoever. It does not look patchy anywhere, or I don't see it settling anywhere in my lines or anything. So I will try to do at least a 7 to 8 hours wear test and then update you guys. But so far, whatever it claims, I do feel it on my skin. I am really impressed with it. The only thing is, I did try to take a picture with a flash, and the foundation, it's not like white, but it looks lighter in the areas where you applied it. It looks lighter than the rest of your body. So maybe if you do want to take pictures, I suggest to apply it all over your neck and your chest, like wherever you're gonna be taking the photos of. Other than that, it looks pretty glowy, radiant, and I just love it so far. At the moment I give it a thumbs up, but let's see how it holds on and how it works throughout with time. So I will update you guys with my final review after this shot, and hopefully I'll be back in like another 6 to 7 hours. So see you guys in a bit. Hey guys, so I'm back. It's been around 6.5 hours that I've had this foundation on my face, and before I go to bed I wanted to give my final review because it's literally like 2 a.m. and I'm so tired now. And all I want to say is that I'll start with the foundation. Actually, I don't know if you guys can notice, but my face still looks so like glowy and fresh. A lot of times when I wear good foundations and I'm at work or I've been out for so long, people still like, you know, ask me like how I look so fresh. And all I can say is that it a lot of times depends on the foundation. So you can pretty much see that the powders and the highlight, everything's still intact. Everything's pretty much there. Not much rubbed off, maybe a little bit of my contour rubbed off, but that's fine. It's been around 7 hours now. Other than that, when I did eat and drink and everything, so there's no patches. Like, the foundation did not cling on to any patches or anything. I can see a little bit of the foundation settling into my smile lines, but very little, which is totally normal because I laugh a lot and I talk with a lot of expressions, so it's a normal thing. It happens with me with most of the foundations. So usually I do have to touch up my normal makeup in like 7 to 8 hours just to set the smile lines and my under eye creases, because that happens a lot as well. Other than that, as you can see, I'm pretty sure it's visible. Like, it's really smooth. It did not oxidize on me at all. My face still looks very fresh. My blush, my highlighter is still there. A lot of times when I get oily or greasy, my nose highlighter also comes off, but everything's still there. The only thing is a little bit of it like gathered also in this nose area, which is also fine. It's a normal thing. When I touch up, it goes away, but it's not crazy. It's not like a big patch or foundation rubbing off or it breaking off. It's just a little bit of it collected in any of the areas where I have lines, which is fine for me. Other than that, I think I give this foundation a good 4 out of 5, or actually 4.5 out of 5, because it's still radiant, it still has the coverage, it didn't oxidize. I look really fresh, and I would say it claims what it says. I can definitely feel all of that, whatever it says. Now coming on to the concealer. Now for the foundation, I don't see any difference between the one that I use with the blender and the brush. It's almost the same. I would say that my blush in person looks more vibrant with the one that I used on the brush side. So maybe if you want it to be a little bit more long lasting, or your products that you put on top to be more vibrant, you can use a brush, because that will definitely give you more coverage. But I don't see a lot of difference. But for the concealer, I do see a difference. The one that I use the blender with is actually still very like hydrated, and it did not settle into my fine lines that much. But the one that I use with the brush, because the beauty blender definitely has some hydration in it when you're using a damp one, so I think that's why it's pretty smooth. I said before that I have an issue with concealer settling into my fine lines. Here I can feel it exaggerating the lines. I don't really see it settling into them that much. They're still not in my lines, but I just feel like it's a bit more prominent here, my lines. Other than that, the concealer did feel a little bit faded. It's still there, it's still hydrating, but it just feels like the coverage is a little bit less. So I think if I would want to use this concealer, I'd suggest you do some color correcting before the concealer application. Maybe that would just make the concealer stay on longer. I do prefer the concealer applied with the blender. I think it worked a lot better, and it looks a lot better in person as compared to the side that I use the brush. The brush still looks a bit dry. So if you have issues with concealer creasing on you, I suggest you go with the blender as compared to applying it with the brush. And so for the concealer, I think I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5, because I do have concealers that work better for me. I don't have any complaints with it. I might use it as an everyday concealer, but I'll just be very careful and maybe like build it up a little bit more for the coverage. Other than that, I'm totally happy. I think if I would have done a touch up at 8 hours, I think the foundation and concealer would last a good 10 to 12 hours, which is really good for an everyday product. Say that I really like it, and I'm super impressed with NYX. I love their brand in general, and that's just a little review and a wear test and my honest opinions on it. I really hope you guys like this video. If you do, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any other requests, you can feel free to leave it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.